Hey guys, Andy Amyx here with KingofMagicUSA.com, and today I have the pleasure of reviewing Ultimate Control. This is put out by Brian Foshee, the gentleman who also produces the Happy Amp. A lot of you magicians out there probably even own that piece of equipment. Anyway, I am here to review the Ultimate Control. If you don't know what it is a remote, an RF remote system, and this is an MP3 player that runs your music remotely. This review will be a slightly lengthy. I'm not going to go into too much on how to work the Ultimate Control, because Brian goes over that in the instruction booklet and also online. So let's just show you what you get with it. This is what the box looks like. Very simple, straightforward. This one's already been opened and everything's been taken out because this is my personal one. So when you get it, the Happy Amp, the Ultimate Control and remote will be right here on top. And then underneath, I have already unpackaged just about everything except a couple little things. You receive a set of headphones with it, so you can listen to the music on the MP3 player. Actually, Brian calls it the UC for Ultimate Control on the UC unit. So that way, if you need to arrange your music and listen to it at the same time, he supplies you with a nice little set of headphones. He supplies you with a mini cord to mini cord. I don't particularly use this, that's why it's staying in the package. I use mini to RCAs, and it goes into a small soundboard for me and that's what plays my music. He also supplies you with a wall plug that has a USB plug into it. Okay, this is to charge your Ultimate Control unit, and of course he supplies you with the plug for it. This plug, I really like that he chose this style of plug. If you own a digital camera, you will recognize this end here. To me, it looks like a mini small version of an HDMI plug-in, but this is for cameras. So if you do lose this is very obtainable, very inexpensive at your electronics store or online. So it's a USB, and then this unit goes and plugs in on top of the Ultimate Control unit. This also will need to be plugged into your computer to use your Ultimate Control unit. Okay, let's get into, also it comes with a little instruction booklet. We'll get into that a little bit. And talking with Brian over the phone, I took a few little notes and things like this. I remember talking to Brian a while back, even before this was released. He was advertising it. I had called him, and I was really excited that he was putting this out because I was actually looking into producing something similar like this, and he had already beat me to it, which I'm glad, because it's a lot of work to put something out like this. And the reason I wanted to do that is because a company by the name of IQ, and a lot of you guys have that IQ system. I have two of them, one that's broken and one that I obtained from a really dear friend of mine after it broke. And so I was worried about what am I going to use, because some of the other things out there that run music just aren't to my liking. And some of them I'll mention some of the inexpensive ones. A company by the name of iJet. I don't like it at all. I mean, I even have it, iJet is a little remote system that plugs into the bottom of your iPod, and it has a remote, and it changes the music that way. I actually find that to be very disappointing. It's not a good unit at all. I would never use it for my magic show, because it just doesn't work very well at all. I use it in my car sometimes, and even in my car when it's 2 feet away or a foot away, I push advance or it doesn't work. It's just the percentage of it working is horrible. And Kerry Pollock, a lot of people know Virtual Sound Man, and Kerry Pollock's unit. Did I say Virtual Sound Man? I apologize. I think that is the incorrect name. Anyway, I'm blanking on right now Kerry Pollock's music system that he has out, and he's had it out for years. So Carrie's unit, in my opinion, is by far overpriced. I hear lots of complaints in regards to the software. This is one of the reasons I never bought it either, is because it is it does like too much, and I'm sure it works for some guys, but for your everyday performer, when you just need to run your music, I think his system is overkill. And because I know it can run lights and smoke, and it can do so much. It's almost too much, because if you're going into if you're that big, if I want to say, or if you're putting on a show that's that big, you have somebody running your lights and sound. I know his unit can be pre-programmed to pretty much just, push one button and it goes. And if your show is, goes right along with that and with no stops, then it's pretty cool. I just think it's overkill for what it is. Personally, I don't like it. That's why I never purchased one. I don't even, a dear friend of mine, Dan Sperry, has one, and we did a show together, and he had problems with it. And he was having to take the remote out of his pocket and kind of aim it, and that's bad. And I hate the remote. And Carrie, I hope you see this, and I hope maybe you make a different version. But the remote is a car alarm remote, and the buttons they're recessed. They're not even raised. And so that was another thing I didn't like about it. And then you have to, buy a notebook or have it hooked up to a computer and stuff like that. And, that's all fine and dandy, but I just didn't particularly like it. But again, it does work for a lot of guys. But I think the price tag is way too hefty for what it is. Anyway, and then there's a couple of other ones out there that you have to, and I forget the name of them, but a new one that just came out recently, and it's and I think it's put out by a magician, but you have to have the app on your iPad or iPhone, and it works that way. Not to say I don't particularly like that, but I don't use iPad. I don't have an iPhone. I don't like their products that much. I think it's overrated. I use, Samsung phone, so it wouldn't work. And then for something like that, you would need to buy an iPad or have an iPhone and attach it to that. Nah. Anyway, I'm sure it works, and it's for everybody, but this is so much more simplistic, and it works extremely well. I'm super pleased with it. One of the things that we did talk about is, again, we're talking about price, and I still, to this day, feel it's a little pricey for this, but it is fantastic. If you're a professional, the $399 is fantastic. I know, Brian, it was at $449. $450 basically, and then he told me as soon as he dropped the price, his sales went way up. And I even told him, I said, Brian, I think you should even consider dropping the price even another $50 or a total of $100. If you made it, it's $399 now. If you made it $350, or if you even made it $299, he would sell so many of these, it'd be ridiculous. Just because some guys will go, this is $400, But it is, and it does work really, really well. So that's where my stance is on this piece, price-wise. He also has a new remote. Well, not a new remote, but if you do not like the range that this remote has at the moment, right now that's about 50 or 60 feet. So if you're looking to have the remote work your MP3 player at a further distance, you need to send this back to Brian. He'll charge you $50. He changes the antenna in here and puts a stronger antenna in it, and that way I think it doubles your distance for the remote working the MP3 player. Also, he offers a toe switch and an ankle switch now. So go online if you were interested in that. He offers that now for the Ultimate Control. Also, another thing that I think is really brilliant that he offers is he offers a warranty, and it's $4.99 a month. All right, and I think this would be silly. I'm gonna do this. I think it'd be silly if anybody does not invest in this, especially if you have bought this already. buy the warranty. This is one of those warranties that I think is crucial. I know a lot of warranties out there, especially in the electronic industry, is kind of a waste, or the appliance industry. It's one of the, not to say the biggest scams, but it's one of the biggest money makers that is rarely used. But for his, I think it's fantastic. He says if you drop it or break it, or it doesn't, or it starts to fail on you, he'll replace it. I mean, think about that. $5 a month, and you do the math. And would you prefer to not invest that and you broke it, and to pay another, $3.99? Not me. So I think it's a wise investment. I think it's great. And knowing Brian, I've known Brian for many, many years. Actually, we refreshed our memory when we were on the phone. How did we meet? And I couldn't remember how I knew Brian. I totally forgot. But I actually taught him at Magic Camp years ago. Anyway, so the warranty is absolutely fantastic. I highly recommend you get that warranty for this unit. Of course, if you lose it, that's your damn fault. You shouldn't lose it. And you can't replace something that's lost. You have to he can't replace something that's lost. Now, if it's broken or it doesn't work, yes. He did say, I'm going to unplug this here. He did say, though, that the lithium-ion battery in the MP3 player should last up to 10 years, which I think is amazing, because you're having to recharge this, which is great. And then online, he teaches you how to unscrew the back and change the battery out on the remote, which is another wonderful thing. One of the things I will say is when you do get this, you will need to go online, and he will teach you. I mean, I can go over a few things, but I'd rather leave it to him. That you will need to go online. I think it's best that you go online and watch, of course, the videos that he has on how to use this. It's very, very simple. One of the things I will criticize just a little bit, Brian, is that he's got the nice little instruction booklet, but for your international customers, number one, I think the size could be just a little bit bigger. I mean, I can read this fine. I think it's great that he went small for, maybe paper purposes or waste or whatnot. But this should be in really, really, really detailed, or at least offer a PDF for people to download, but in super detailed, because a lot of international customers that don't speak English can read better than they can understand. So when you're trying to explain something online and they're trying to listen to you, they may not understand you, but then they can read a lot better than they can basically understand. So, and I think this is pretty detailed, but it should be a lot more detailed from A to Z on how to run this unit. Okay, the actual unit itself, the reason I like it, I have little speakers that I might show you a little demo, but one of the things I really, really like about this unit, once you learn to drag and drop your music onto the unit, you will, once you plug this in, you'll notice that also on your computer it says Ultimate Control. What's nice about it is it doesn't state that it's just another hard drive like C, D, or E, or F, or whatever. It actually says Ultimate Control. You double click on that if you have a PC, open it up, and you'll see that there's just one folder. It says Playlist. He'll teach you, do not drop any music into the playlist whatsoever. The music is dropped next to the folder, and then from there you can make infinite playlists. So take all your music, dump it into the main part of the Ultimate Control folder, not the playlist folder, and then from this unit, once all that's done, you unplug it, and then you make your playlists from here, which is absolutely fantastic and wonderful. Another thing that I really, really like about this, you can control each song, meaning each song's volume is really nice on here. So if there's one particular music, you want the music to be high and more intense, you can have the volume all the way up for that. which is great. And then the next piece of music, oh, you want to control the volume for that, and maybe you want some basically just background twinkly music while you're talking. That next piece of music, so you don't have to touch the remote. It can go down, it can be brought down halfway or however far you want, and then if you need to, you can control it with your remote, which I think was absolutely fantastic. Also, another thing on this is you can tell this unit to when you basically, so they talk to each other, the remote and the MP3 player, you can tell the remote to, when you forward your music, so when you forward your music to the next song, to the next track, it will automatically play or advance to the next song and just pause. And then you can control that, which I think is fantastic. And that goes for there's a fade button over here, which is really nice. I can go into a lot more detail about this, but I'm going to let Brian do that. If you buy this, which you should buy this if you're interested in a system that controls your music, this is, in my opinion, the best thing on the market right now, and probably will be for quite some time. The remote, let's talk about the remote for a minute. It is fantastic. It has a little curvature to it, which is nice. So when it sits on your in your pants, if you have this in your pocket, and it has a little curvature, so it kind of basically hugs your leg. It's very nice. The buttons are all raised, and even the button here on the side is raised for the fade button. Now, two buttons have indicators on top. They're a little bit more raised. The volume up button has another little triangle that's raised a little higher than the volume down. So you know this is the volume up, which is fantastic. I also really, really like the size. It's not too damn small. Nobody's going to see this in your pocket. So who cares? I mean, who cares if they know you're running music from your pocket anyway? The advanced, to move to the next track, button also has a little square which is more raised than the backtrack. The middle button is your pause and your unpause button. Again, this unit is fantastic. Very, very simple to use. Very, very simple MP3 player to use. There's not much on here in regards to the menu system, but it is very clever, some of the things you can do with this. So I really highly recommend the Ultimate Control. Another thing I do want to point out, this is what I wanted to show you guys, is a lot of people might not say complain, but may not like the fact that the screen is not as big as say the the IQ system. You know, IQ system, you know, is pretty darn big, and you can see the number from quite a distance. This you actually can too, believe it or not. And also the numbers are color coded, but in my opinion, you should know your playlist. You should have, you know, a cheat sheet like I do on my table of what I'm doing that evening. You know, because I have 3 different shows. I have a corporate show, an adult show, and a family show. And so I have different pieces of music, and of course I have those on my playlist in here. And so you can go to that playlist, whatever show you're doing for that evening. Now, I will give you an example. I'll go down to a song here, and you'll probably even hear it. So, number 5. You may not be able to see 5 if you have this placed off to the side or anything like that. Depends on how good your eyesight is. But it's blue. Okay? So, if I advance to the next song, number 6 is purple. So, a lot of these are color-coded. Number 7 is burgundy. And so, as you get higher and higher into the numbers, like once you get past, what is it? I think it's 11 or 12. Let's see. Like number 13. 13 has a white backdrop. Okay, but the number is kind of a black burgundy. So if you're really worried about, and maybe you'll start to remember, and it's the same colors every single time. So if you're worried about not being able to see that, just remember, okay, like number 10. Number 10 is green, so which is great, but I could see that very easily from a distance. So that is a really nice feature on there, and some guys may not like that this is not big enough, but again, you should know your music and what, you know, each piece of music is, and recognize it and correspond with the number that if you have a cheat sheet on your table. So anyway, I can go on and on and on about this. Brian will teach you online how to do this. I highly, I mean, this is probably one of the best things of late 2012. I think it came out, of 2013. This is probably going to be the best thing, in my opinion, that has come out in a very, very long time. I know it's not a magic trick, but you know what? It is magic to me because it runs my music. My music is one of the most important things in my show. And I like it that it's small, compact, it works. I've already used it. It hasn't failed me yet. It's fantastic. I can't say anything more or even better about it. It's awesome. Get it. When you get it, get the warranty. Highly recommend it. This is Brian Foshee's Ultimate Control. Go get it. It's on kingofmagicusa.com. See you guys soon. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.